Welcome, everyone, to this Wednesday evening live edition of Keep It in the Ring, here live on the AGT Network and my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, as well as on Facebook. Thank you for joining in an action-packed hour of boxing and the Pro Wrestling Report at the second part of the show, the last half hour or so, and a lot of wrestling news, as you know, WrestleMania season, but the boxing news always intense. Of course, Ryan Garcia always in the news with his upcoming fight with Devin Haney. We'll talk about that a little bit. I want you to comment if you can on if you're watching us live, and if not, later on in the week. My social media handles, scroll to the bottom. Rich Mancuso at Facebook.com or X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, other social media platforms as well. And we'd love you to subscribe. It's free, fans. Do it. Thank you for joining in here on the AGT Network and my channel on YouTube, Rich Mancuso. This is Keep It in the Ring every week here. My great producer behind the scenes is Carl Roberts. We'll get him in later. He's going to do the Fact of the Week with me this week. And we have just a lot of news to get to, so why don't we do it? Upcoming fights of significance in the next week or so. They're also being scrolled at the bottom of the screen, so take note of that, especially if you're a big fight fan, have a passion for the sport of boxing as much as I do. All right, I lead off tonight with my old saying from my old mentor, the late New York City sports scribe, Dick Young, who loved boxing as much as I did, tutored me on the sport along with my other mentor, the late, great Burt Randolph Sugar. And I will say this, what's going on here? I write like that column-wise with NewYorkSportsDay.com when I write boxing or other sports as well. And what's going on is injuries to fighters, significant injuries, significant to fighters that are main eventers on pay-per-view. Two of them in the past week. The major one, as you know, Keith One-Time Thurman, who was anticipating his rise to 154 against the champion, Costa Tszyu. Well, apparently Keith Thurman comes out and he has an injury to his oblique or something like that. So he's out of this fight picture now with Costa Tszyu. Disappointing for the 35-year-old Thurman, who's been inactive for almost 2 years. And when as he said, when he got the call for this fight, the juices started flowing again. Keith Thurman is a former two-time champ, welterweight division, was moving up to 154. Costa Tszyu, undefeated, making his debut in the United States. So they've switched his card around. The pay-per-view on Amazon Prime PBC debut goes on. Despite Keith Thurman's bicep injury, Amazon Prime pay-per-view and the PBC had a reshuffle, and there's the official statement. Instead now, the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora, who was on the pay-per-view but not the main eventer, has now been elevated to main event. On 12 days' notice, he'll get Costa Tszyu. Costa Tszyu against Fundora now, and it's not Keith Thurman against Costa Tszyu. Of course, underneath is a great fight. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Rolly Romero and Isaac Pitbull Cruz for the WBO junior middleweight title. You know what? Here's the thing with the Thurman no longer fighting Costa Tszyu. Instead, you got the Towering Inferno on 12 days' notice. I don't doubt that he can handle that, but he's much taller, 6'5", southpaw, towering. You know what he can do. He gives you that reach, and he gives you that length. He has it. Isaac Pitbull Cruz much smaller of an opponent. Rather Tszyu. Tszyu is relatively he's smaller than what he was going to get in the ring, and so now Keith Thurman is out, and we had to change gears. I know the PBC shuffled to save this show. They had to. They weren't going to scrap the show because it's loaded. It's the Amazon Prime pay-per-view main event they were worried about. But they were able to shuffle. The Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora said, no problem. 12 days notice. Before, I was preparing for someone else. I'll take it. And it's an opportunity for that young man who sustained only one loss in his career. You know, he's got that lanky figure, and a lot of people question his ability, that he does have some power. He can throw a punch. He's got great footwork. He is lanky. Costa Tszyu, though, he's a technician. He offers everything. He was preparing for Keith Thurman. But in boxing, as you know, my friends, these things happen. And why I say what's going on here is because it's happening much too often. Now, I heard a lot on my social media and everywhere else in the past few days since Thurman had to pull out of this fight that he pulled out, and he pulled out intentionally. Now, I don't buy that. I won't listen to that. It's a legitimate injury. I spoke to people in his camp. It's a legitimate injury. I spoke to people in the PBC. It's a legitimate injury. As for Keith Thurman, that's the one who's you got to be concerned about. I am. I know him well. And also, I value his skills as a professional fighter, as a former champion. Injuries happen in the sport. It's just that they're happening too frequently, one too often, that scraps the main event. And for boxing, it's not good. And for the streaming networks, it's not good. For the promoters, it's not good. But just like any other sport, fighters get hurt. If they don't get hurt in the ring, they will get hurt in the gym, whether it be sparring, and I've seen that on numerous occasions, whether it be a freak injury. I've seen that on numerous occasions. It's just just the way the sport works. Injuries happen in all sports. However, as in major sports leagues, as you know, you have a replacement player. Compare this to that with this fight card that now no longer has Keith Thurman. Instead, the towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora, who was on the card on the pay-per-view originally, will take the place and fight Costa Tszyu. That all scheduled next Saturday night, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. PBC debuts on Amazon Prime. The disappointment again, no Keith Thurman. Now, the injury he has sustained, I understand, could keep him out of action 5-6 months. You know, I know that from ball players covering baseball for a long time. When you have an injury of that magnitude that Keith Thurman sustained, sometimes it takes months to heal. In this case, Keith Thurman is a fighter, well-conditioned. However, a freak injury. It happened, and we have to accept it. And Keith Thurman now has to weigh his options. Where does he go from here? This was going to be his debut fight at 154, and that was the other test. We know he could handle it. He wanted to go 154 for the longest time, but it's not happening. So we wish Keith Thurman the best of luck on his recovery. Hope he returns back to the ring real soon. Again, Rolly Romero and Isaac Cruz, and Pitbull Cruz is going to be a good one. They banded back and forth on their media call with the media during the week, one telling the other, though there was a lot of courtesy granted to both fighters. And, of course, Romero was using his Romero talk that he was going to do what he had to do, that he's the best fighter at 140, and he's going to retain his title, and that he was going to take Isaac Cruz out early. Isaac Cruz, on the other hand, you know, is a smart and damn good fighter. We saw that last year against Gervonta Davis, where a year before he took him to the limit, 12 rounds, and no one expected that, and Isaac Cruz almost pulled it off. This, my friends, is going to be a good fight. It's now the second fight on an Amazon pay-per-view. Look forward to that next week. On that card also, Alessandro Londra against Michael Zapata, WBO 160-pound title, a good one. And now Julio Cesar Martinez versus Angelino Cordova, the WBC 100-pound title moves up. So you got a good pay-per-view coming up, Amazon Prime debut, PBC, next Saturday night. T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, despite no Keith Thurman. All right, let's move on. What's going on here as I continue? The other fight that was scrapped of significance on the calendar, for now, the rematch, an anticipated one, with Josh Taylor and Jake Cottrell, postponed now a third time. That's the issue with this. Well, Taylor sustained an injury in training. Where we heard that before. April 27th now is the return bout. We're going to see it. It's been rescheduled, but we have to wait a little longer. In Leeds, England, on the Zone. Matchroom is the promoter. They rescheduled it now, rather for May 25th, not April 27th. Correct me. Scheduled for April 27th. We do have to wait a little longer to see the third time with Cottrell and Josh, to see them second time, Cottrell and Taylor. And it's on ESPN Plus and only on the Zone in the UK. Taylor, of course, won that first fight, controversial by split decision, and too much controversy again with that. And, of course, we already know one fight in the heavyweight division to unify it all was moved up months ago. Tyson Fury, the WBC heavyweight champion, sustained his injury, and the unification bout with Alexander Usyk has been now moved up, and we know it's in mid-May. Unless something else goes wrong, we should see Fury and Usyk fighting in Saudi Arabia to unify, hopefully, the heavyweight title, and that's coming up. And there's a rematch in that contract, so we talked about this last week, if you remember, that Anthony Joshua victorious over Ngannou in Saudi Arabia 2 weeks ago. Well, Anthony Joshua now will probably have to wait to be part of that heavyweight title mix because there's a rematch clause with Fury and Usyk. Either way you look at it, the heavyweight division is popping. It's real interesting, and it's because Anthony Joshua got that win. He's rolled off a consecutive, I think, 4 wins in a row now. That puts him right in there for the heavyweight title mix. But again, the issue is too many fighters getting injured, delaying an anticipated championship fight or eliminator that's so important for the sport and for the divisions filled with alphabet soup organizations. We have to wait a little longer because of injuries. You can't prevent it. It happens. But it's happening one too much. That's why I say what my late mentor, the late New York sports scribe, Dick Young said all the time, what's going on here? Well, there you have it. All right. In the meantime, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are very deep into their training for their headline bout, Extravaganza, coming up in mid-July on Netflix pay-per-view as they make their debut into the boxing streaming network scene, and there'll probably be more after that. So Mike Tyson is training very hard. If you look at his social media on Instagram, Twitter, and so forth, the former heavyweight champion at 58 years of age looks in great shape. The question is, does Mike Tyson still have anything to go in there with Jake Paul, who right now is the established pro fighter, despite all the mediocrity he has faced in the ring since he became a pro fighter? So here we have Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Still to be determined if this is going to be an exhibition or a recorded bout. Will it be real? Well, here we go. Here's a statement coming from Jake Paul. Or rather, it's from Mike Tyson. If you think I signed the contract for more, there's the obscenities here. You could read that for yourself. This is Jake Paul saying that some references to WWE, that he might end up going there with his brother Logan, who's the United States champion in WWE. I think that's inevitable. That's going to happen eventually. But he's saying with the world of boxing, he's doing them a favor, endeavoring this nonsense. You'll see I'm coming ready for his head. So Jake Paul's serious. Mike Tyson, in the meantime, is serious. He's training hard, but we still don't know if it's sanctioned yet. And we don't know if they're going to fight with headgear or not. And for the sake of Mike Tyson, who took an awful lot of punches in his Hall of Fame heavyweight championship career, I hope Tyson wears headgear and that fight does not become a fight that goes on the record. exhibition. It's a spectacular. You've heard my feelings on this. That's all it is, an extravaganza. And if Jake Paul wants to take his boxing career seriously, one where he says he's the best in the world and wants to fight the best, well, it's not opposing Mike Tyson for an awful lot of money on Netflix. And what happens remains to be determined as far as they're going to wear headgear, is it sanctioned exhibition or not. But it's starting to get a little hot and heavy with the two who are really not adversaries. They respect each other. They're hyping up something that shouldn't be hyped because it's going to be a fight that you're going to buy anyway. Because there are millions of Jake Paul fans, as you know, and there are millions of Mike Tyson iconic fans out there as well, including yours truly. They're going to want to see Tyson in the ring again, and they're going to want to see Jake Paul. But for Jake Paul to take his career seriously, he must fight viable opponents. Mike Tyson is not the one. Remains to be seen. All right. Speaking of Jake Paul, he's getting into it with Ryan Garcia. We're going to talk about Garcia next, but take a look at this. Paul FaceTiming, or Ryan Garcia FaceTiming Jake Paul, calling each other every name in the book you don't want me to say on FaceTime. Why in hell is Ryan Garcia getting involved with Jake Paul, and why in hell is Jake Paul getting involved with Ryan Garcia? They want to fight each other. They want to get in the ring. You know what? The way Ryan Garcia is talking, the way his career is going, who knows? Maybe Jake Paul, Ryan Garcia becomes the next extravaganza. But there it is. Jake Paul FaceTiming Ryan Garcia. It's on social media all over the place. You can catch how they badmouthed each other. It wasn't very nice. But again, it's getting attention. Or I wouldn't be talking about it, would I? Anyway. Let's get to who I call now the problem child, Ryan Garcia. What's going to come up next with this young man? There's a lot of rumors still, fans, roaming around, that this fight with Devin Haney, the Haney's 140-pound title, will not take place at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and that it won't go on, because Ryan Garcia seems to be mentally not there. Just take a look every day at Ryan Garcia's Twitter, more so Instagram postings. They're disturbing. Yet he continues to post that he's training very hard every day, and we do see that with his trainer, Derek James, in Dallas, Texas. We also see a very, very well, Ryan Garcia's posting photos of himself training. And statements like this, though, that become disturbing. He says something about children again, and claims also in his latest X posting during the week that he was raped as a young man. Perhaps he psychologically damaged from that. We don't know. Okay? But Ryan Garcia continues to post disturbing messages. Where's his mentality going into this major mega fight if it takes place April 20th, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York? Yet we do see Ryan Garcia training very hard. And the physique, he's in condition. There's no doubt about it. He takes his training seriously. In between, though, he posts these disturbing messages that makes you wonder how psychologically is he going to be going in the ring against Devin Haney. In fact, the New York State Athletic Commission came out and said that they want Ryan Garcia, before the fight, to go through a series of psychological testing. Now, that is not really a protocol with the New York State Athletic Commission when it comes to fighters. They are very strict about physicals, medicals, before a fighter gets licensed and approved to be in any New York State boxing show, or card of boxing, if you want to call it. However, Ryan Garcia has now said that if this continues, he's going to sue the New York State Athletic Commission if they force him to take a psychological testing exam. What do you think about that, fans? What do you think about Ryan Garcia? Has Ryan Garcia gone off the handle completely? Does the New York State Athletic Commission have the right to say Ryan Garcia must go through a psychological testing procedure before this fight with Devin Haney, if indeed it comes off? I'd like to know what your comments about that. Why don't you comment? Of course, subscribe here at Keep It in the Ring on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, or at the AGT Network, or on my social media. I'd like to get your comments about Ryan Garcia's mental state and with this New York State Athletic Commission edict that he must go through psychological testing. Again, leading up to this fight, which is a little more than 5 weeks away or less, this will continue. The antics of Ryan Garcia on social media, where he should be more mentally prepared to face probably if not, you thought that Gervonta Davis was tough. Devin Haney, who might be the best fighter in the world pound per pound. And speaking of Garcia and Haney, take a look. They met in the amateurs. Here's a photo back in 2014. The two of them then were very good friends. They might still very well be and respect each other. We don't know. We're not behind the scenes with them. They split 6 fights among the two of them in the amateurs. And there's a candid image of the both of them that we found on social media a couple of days ago. Garcia and Haney, 2 youngsters in the amateurs who split 6 fights together. All right. More importantly now, and it's always important when you talk about Canelo Alvarez, okay? Thank you, Jim, for tuning in on us live. Thank you so much. Keep it in the ring to you. Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. It's official, May 4th, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. That is going to be on Amazon Prime pay-per-view with the PBC. And Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. They had their press conference yesterday. Well respected, the two of them. The fight that of 2 Mexican warriors, both went in undefeated. Both are going in undefeated. You know, Canelo is the face of boxing, as everyone says. Picks and chooses his own fights, made a ton of money, and this fight will make a lot of money. It's 2 Mexicans undefeated, 2 excellent Mexican fighters who have their own different styles, both punch well, both great footwork. Munguia and Canelo Alvarez spoke yesterday and both talked about how important this fight not only was for them and how much that Munguia looked up to Canelo Alvarez, but also how much that Munguia feels he can beat Canelo Alvarez and how much he looked up to Canelo Alvarez as he grew up in the boxing business. So this is a fight we look forward to. I don't expect this one to be scrapped. It's going to be a good one and worth the buy on pay-per-view May 4th. Canelo Alvarez, all for his 168-pound undisputed titles, and Jaime Munguia, who can punch and can go with you punch to punch. And Canelo Alvarez can do the same. And that's a fight on the calendar we're looking forward to, all of us in boxing, on May 4th. Now, at Madison Square Garden last Friday night, Munguia's trainer, Freddie Roach, the world-renowned Hall of Fame trainer, happened to be there because he was in the corner for the headliner on the night. They'll talk about it in a moment. And Callum Smith, the 22-year-old undefeated Irishman, we'll talk about it in a moment. But we were able, me and a couple of other media guys at ringside, able to talk. We were able to get Roach after the fights and talk to him about Canelo Alvarez a little bit and also about Jaime Munguia. And then also to tell you this, I don't have this on the video. I asked Freddie Roach if Manny Pacquiao, who he trained a good part of his career, not towards the latter end, though, as you know. And Manny Pacquiao, the only 8-division champion in boxing, retired, supposedly, senator out in the Philippines. There is talk, and Eddie Hearn spurred it all up a few weeks ago, about Pacquiao and Conor Benn. Pacquiao coming out of retirement. Freddie Roach told me off camera, not happening. He spoke to Manny, and he said, Manny's home in the Philippines. He's not training for an upcoming fight for Conor Benn. So you can throw that out the window for now, but with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom, you never know. He makes fights. Hope it doesn't happen, as you heard me say last week. In the meantime, as you'll hear now, Freddie Roach talking about Munguia and Canelo Alvarez. Let's take a look at that. Carl, roll the video.
Once again, Miguel.
Oh, gee, come on. Now it's only once.
I'm just saying. But in terms of the actual fight, is Munguia the most difficult style for Canelo as opposed to like a David Benavidez?
Maybe not the most, but I know his style will give him trouble, and we look forward to fighting his fight. We signed the contract one day out. So that's how bad we wanted that fight.
Is Canelo, in your view, is he the same guy he always was, or has he?
I think he stayed a little bit, but we'll find out.
Give us your thoughts on Devin Haney. He had a fight coming up against Ryan Garcia. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Devin Haney, he makes appointments.
Well, there you are. Freddie Roach is always good to talk to. He's great with the media. I got a couple of questions, and a few others did. In fact, I started the whole thing, but I didn't end up doing the whole thing myself the way I wanted to. But still, we got a perspective from Freddie Roach about Jaime Munguia and what he expects out of that with Canelo Alvarez. Gave a little insights also about Ryan Garcia as well. Always great catching up with the great, renowned Hall of Fame trainer, Freddie Roach, who was at the Garden in the corner for his 23-year-old super welterweight, Callum Smith, who was prevailed, victorious, and won the Alphabet Soup Continental America Super Welterweight title. Walsh wasn't at his best. Everyone said that. But he is ranked now 14th in his division. He got the stoppage in the 9th round. His opponent had they waved it off. Took a lot of punishment. Tough Mexican, by the way, who he fought in Ulasanov. And now Walsh is 10-0 with 8 KOs. He'll be in the Garden again. His promoter at 360 Promotions that put this all up with UFC Fight Pass and Dana White. Very satisfied with the progress of Walsh. After everything was over Friday night at the Garden, I had a nice interview one-on-one with Tom Loeffler in 360 Promotions, and here it goes. Roll it, Carl.
Yeah. What is it about the Garden now that you like about promoting here? Being at it twice in 5 months.
I've always loved the Garden. My first fighter I ever worked with was Kevin Kelly, who was signed with MSG Boxing, and he was fighting at the Garden all the time with Buddy McGirt.
I remember it well.
Yeah, absolutely. So ever since then, I've had great memories at MSG. The Klitschko brothers fought here. We pretty much grew Triple G, the legend of Triple G, here at Madison Square Garden. And now we're doing that. The second fight, Callum Walsh fighting here, and you can tell the emotion and the experience that he's getting here, and the fans that are coming out. It's a perfect place to build a fighter.
He's developed a popularity here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
saw all the Irish fans coming out, but it was a great show.
Do you want to make this an annual event in March?
Semi-annual. We're looking at March. Definitely St. Patrick's Day. MSG was very happy. They were happy with the turnout, happy with all the energy in the crowd, and UFC comes here every November.
Right.
So we're going to piggyback on the UFC show and then come back for the St. Patrick's show.
How's that venture been working out? It's been working out real well.
Very well. Dana's really happy what we're doing with boxing on UFC Fight Pass. He likes the fights. He likes the competition that we're putting on, promoting the fights with the tickets and everything like that. So the ratings are doing good on UFC Fight Pass, so we're just going to keep building, keep signing young fighters, and it's working out well.
Your assessment of Walsh tonight?
Well, Callum learned a lot tonight. Dorn had a very, very awkward style. You can tell his amateur experience. He knew how to survive in there. It was hard to hit him clean, but Callum sort of started breaking him down. Luckily, he went to the body, hit him with a couple big headshots, and you could tell the eye was getting really swollen up. So I'm glad the referee stopped the fight.
When can Irish fans expect to see Callum here again?
Thank you, Tom Loeffler. He is just a promoter you want to talk to. Very personable. Puts on great shows, by the way. Now, that was on Irish Night at the Garden Friday night, St. Patrick's Day weekend. Belated happy St. Patrick's Day to all my fans and followers out there, if I didn't already tell you that on social media. But Tom Loeffler is now going to go in the Garden. He's a semi-annually, which is great for New York and great for the Garden. It's at the theater, not in the main arena. However, the disappointment wasn't sold out. 3,500 fans, and in the theater that can hold 5,500 or so. So that was the disappointment. They were loud and they got into it, and Walsh wasn't at his best. But as you heard Tom Loeffler say, some things he's got to work on, and he will. It's his 10th pro fight. He's undefeated 10-0, has a lot of potential in the division, and now he has an Alphabet Soup championship, which will get him ranked. So we'll see where that goes. But thank you again, Tom Loeffler. We look forward to seeing you again in New York at Madison Square Garden with 360 Promotions. On that fight card also, the featherweight, Figel McGrory, remained undefeated, 16-0, 8 KOs. He stopped Carlos Carlston in the third round. Good fight to see as McCrory is exciting. If you ever get to see him again, do so. And the veteran, Cletus Selden from Long Island, New York, 36 years of age, super lightweight, 8-round majority decision. He won it, and now he's a WBA Continental America's title champion. More Alphabet Soup, but the WBA comes up with all these titles and as old as Selden is, he looked good. He's a veteran. He's been in there before. New York favorite with the crowd. And he proposed to his girlfriend. They are now engaged in the middle of the ring when it was all over. Congratulations to Cletus Selden on his latest win. Hope we see him more. And on his impending marriage. He is now, he has his fiance. Got the ring on the finger at the end. It's always nice to see that. And the Albanian Bear, who I talked about often here last week, lightweight, Rashid Mahdi, remains undefeated. There you see, 8 rounds. He remains undefeated, 15-0 with 10 knockouts over Irving Mercier, a tough Mexican. Scorecards went 80-72, 79-73, 80-72, all in Rashid's favor. Mahdi said that it was not at his best, and he wasn't. I've seen him better. He hurt his elbow in the second round. That might have had an impact on it. But most of all, he got the win, and he's happy about that. We should see him back in the ring again in a few months. And he comes in with WWE entrant music. He's a big fan of pro wrestling, as we all are here on Keep It in the Ring. Came in with the Kane's entrance theme. Kane. You heard Undertaker themes too on Irish Night at the Garden Friday night when one of the fighters came with the Undertaker's entrance. And very interesting, though, the Mahdi came in with the Kane theme and also dressed like Kane with the mask or the hairdo. Very interesting ring attire and entrance for still undefeated lightweight, the lightweight Rashid Mahdi, the Albanian Bear. Had quite a contingent of his fans here, sold a lot of tickets. And Irish Joe Ward, second round KO of Derek Webster. Webster went down 3 times. Ward gets the win. And this young heavyweight, I have a passion for him because he's an Italian-American like me. But he's also a good heavyweight, too. Get to see him more and more and like his skill. Giovanni Scorderi out of Ridgewood, New York. Unanimous decision over Brandon Carmack. Scorderi improved to 9-0. Good jabbing. Got him the win. Congratulations. Maybe we'll have another Italian-American boxing champion before long. Rocky Marciano, someone I really, really looked up to. That undefeated heavyweight boxing career, Hall of Famer. Jake LaMotta, just a few of them. And in the Fact of the Week, you'll hear about another one coming up in a moment. Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya, he is making a lot of news, not only because he's got the Canelo Alvarez Munguia fight going, as you know, in May on Cinco de Mayo weekend, but he's promoting often. He's got a stable of fighters, and respect again to him for calling out other promoters to get the fights together for the fans. It could be done. De La Hoya's working with other promoters, and he's promoting shows at the same time. He did over the weekend. The IBF and WBA light title eliminated, undefeated #1 by WBC, 3rd by the WBO, 6th by the IBF. Again, Alphabet Soup organizations, but that's how boxing goes. William Zapata, 4 rounds. He overwhelmed Maxie Hughes. That was in Las Vegas. Zapata, 26-7-2. stopped him with a body shot after round 4. Now he's in the title picture. That was a IBF and WBA lightweight title eliminator. He might have to wait, but at least he got an eliminating win. An eliminator win. That's how it goes in this sport. And on that card, undefeated number 4 lightweight Floyd Schofield, who I inadvertently said was under Floyd Mayweather's wing last week. And some of you caught that. Thank you. And I realized it when I went off the air. But Schofield is one of De La Hoya's young, exciting prospects. Now 17-0. 12 knockouts, 5th round, though, disqualification win, because Estioro Soro was deducted points for constantly low-blowing Schofield in rounds 2 and 4. Finally, he was DQ'd in round 5. Good call by the ref. Another low blow did him in. Why do fighters have to resort to those tactics? Over the years, I've always wondered and asked why. You're jeopardizing your opponent. You're jeopardizing your career. You're getting a loss. This was not inadvertent. This was obvious if you saw that fight on the zone. But regardless, Floyd Schofield moves on, undefeated. Oscar De La Hoya has a wonderful, great prospect in Floyd Schofield. And WBC number 12 heavyweight Joe Joyce back in the ring after 2 straight knockout losses to Xiao Zhang, the Chinaman who was on the Saudi Arabian card, lost to Joseph Parker. A 10th round KO versus Kash Ali in Birmingham, England. And he came in, though. This is the problem that slowed him down. The one thing that Joe Joyce has always had an issue with was his weight. Yeah, heavyweight can go as heavy as you want. Hey, I'm a heavyweight after all. Career high, 286 pounds. That can be detrimental to a heavyweight, and that could slow him down. But Joe Joyce is back, got a win after consecutive losses, and we'll see where that goes. Some other boxing news, and a lot of it. Ali Feliz, a heavyweight prospect out of the Dominican Republic, and a good one. In the Dominican Republic, he had won the trials in December. He won them. He did well. Top Rank scouted him. Top Rank and Bob Arum have signed him to a multi-year deal. His pro debut will be 4 rounds. Saturday, April 13th, Corpus Christi, Texas on ESPN Plus, the streaming network with Top Rank. On that card, highlighting is the heavyweight who's been recently with legal issues with police authorities, Jared Anderson. That he is the main event on that card, the debut of Ali Feliz out of the Dominican Republic. Now, Dominican Republic has had a history of pro fighters over the years. Not many have become champions. They're saying that Ali Feliz has that potential to become the first Dominican heavyweight champion. We'll see that as he debuts, and that comes up on the Jared Anderson card coming up in April on Top Rank. Now, before we wrap up the boxing segment, one other note that came up. This came out this morning. Top Rank has got a champion with Emmanuel Navarrete, another Mexican warrior, as you know. And he's going to be fighting Dene Baniol, vacant WBO lightweight title, Saturday, May 18th. And that's going to be in San Diego, and is going to be attempting to become a 4-weight Mexican champion. Canelo's a 4-time also, 4-timer. So Navarrete looking at that coming up in May on a Top-ranked ESPN card. That was announced just, I think it was announced this morning or yesterday. Also, Vasily Lomachenko in the news. You know, he's still a part of this competitive division at 140. Well, him and Tank Davis are going at it on social media. What is it with these guys? Here it is. Lomachenko and Tank Davis talking about their conditioning and opposing each other maybe at 135. Of course, Tank Davis to me can beat anyone. What I'd love to see is a Tank Davis-Shakur Stevenson fight, who's in the picture. and he wants Devin Haney as well. Shakur's talking about Devin Haney, that he could step in if Ryan Garcia can't make that fight at Barclays on April 20th. So we'll see. Again, remains to be determined if Ryan Garcia is mentally stable to get in the ring on April 20th. What are your thoughts, fans? Let me know. Comment, like, subscribe. Here, AGT Network Live, Rich Mancuso on my YouTube channel. A lot of news going on with the fighters, but Lemchenko now and Tank Davis talking. Would you like to see them get in the ring? I would. That could happen. Maybe this year. Top Rank could put it together. PBC could put it together. They work together. Hey, Oscar De La Hoya is talking about promoters working together. Give the fights that the fans want. Here it is, another good one. Maybe we can do it. Lomachenko's still viable. Don't ever count him out. The Ukrainian is strong, and he is mentally and physically fit to continue a career that will eventually get him in the Hall of Fame when he decides to give it all up. Sad news in boxing, but good news in a way. He's recovering. I've met him many times, and we're talking about the Hall of Fame 4-time champion Roberto Duran. Our best wishes to him. He had some heart issues, and he's doing much better in Panama. Had a procedure done. We wish Roberto Duran nothing but the best. No Mas, of course, known with Sugar Ray Leonard in the 80s in their wars together. Roberto Duran has admitted his mistakes in the boxing world, is very good for the sport. He's become an ambassador of the sport, and we wish him well now as he recovers from some type of heart issue. Had a procedure done. They say he's doing much better in Panama, and with all our wishes and blessings to the great Roberto Duran, the Boxing Hall of Famer, the former 4-time champ. All right, coming up to the bottom of the hour, a little later than that, Fact of the Week time, not trivia, and I'm going to bring Carl Roberts in before we take a brief break and get to the pro wrestling. Carl, I'm giving you a shot at the Fact of the Week this week. Come on in. All right, Carl, let's see your, first of all, it's not Fact of the Week till you roll the Fact of the Week. Roll it.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. Carl, you ready?
I'm ready.
Now, if you get this, I ain't giving you nothing. You know that. All right. All right. I mentioned Italian-American fighters just in our first half of the hour here. And a great Italian-American fighter was a world featherweight champion. His name was Guillermo Papaleo, okay, in Connecticut. He changed his name as a fighter. Well-known featherweight champion, Italian-American. I knew him in the later part of his life. I got to know him. But that doesn't mean anything. The thing is that he was an Italian-American, changed his name when he got in the ring. But born Guillermo Papaleo. Do not look it up. Remember, this is a fact, not trivia. Want to take a shot at it? Featherweight?
Rocky Marciano?
No. Rocky Brockton, Massachusetts was a pure Italian-American. As Italian-American can get. He wasn't going to change his name. Why did this guy change his name? Well, we won't know. But it's on record that Willie Pep, the great Willie Pep, a champion from 1942 to 1948 and 1949, 1950. Great era for the sport. Changed his name. I don't know why he did it. Italian-American. Guillermo Papaleo in Connecticut. Changed his name to Willie Pep. People know him as Willie Pep. The late Willie Pep. He passed away a few years ago. Lived a great life. They don't know him as Guillermo Papaleo, and I didn't know either until I came up with the fact.
Well, no offense. Look at Muhammad Ali. Was born Cassius Clay.
Yeah,
what made him change his name? Nobody really knows.
No, but this is an Italian-American. Willie Pep was comparable to Muhammad Ali in his weight class at the time. But we didn't know that about Willie Pep, but we did know that about Muhammad Ali. All right, Carl, thanks. Going to bring you in back after the break, and we're going to take one now. Keep it in the ring with Rich Mancuso live on the AGT network. Also, my channel on YouTube. Like, comment, and most of all, subscribe. It's free, friends. I would appreciate it. My social media handles at the bottom of the screen, and in some of the upcoming fights of significance in the next week or so. Back in a moment, I'll bring Carl in, the Pro Wrestling Report, AEW, WWE with WrestleMania season, and much more. Stay with us. This is Keep It in the Ring. Back in a moment. Keep It in the Ring continues live on the AGT network and my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thanks for being with us, everyone. And like, comment, and subscribe. As I keep telling you, would appreciate that. Subscribe, of course, it's free. Now, more Ryan Garcia news. Does it never end? I mean, you go on your phone and all it is Ryan Garcia. And you go on, and he's on Instagram, Twitter all the time. Here's the latest about an hour ago. Shakur Stevenson says that Ryan says he will fight me next. Let's hold him to his word. Ryan Garcia says to Shakur, join the space, bitch. Your ass had your coach effing that girl from the USA PR team. Don't think we didn't peep that whole ass. I mean, Shakur replying to... this is now Shakur Stevenson and doing some instigating. It's on Twitter, on Ryan Garcia's Twitter. And Ryan says that, Shakur said, Ryan said he will fight me next. Let's hold him to his word. Ryan said, I did if I can't get that Tank rematch at 140. Ryan Garcia now on Twitter saying that he still looking to have a rematch with Gervonta Davis. And Shakur Stevenson is in the middle of this now. Welcome to the world of boxing, my friends. When it comes to Ryan Garcia, and you'll keep hearing Ryan Garcia every week here on this program, on social media, until the fight takes place on April 20th. That is, if the fight takes place. That is, if the New York State Athletic Commission mandates he takes a psychological test that Ryan Garcia says he won't do, and will be forced to sue the Athletic Commission in New York if he has to do it. Stay tuned, my friends. Ryan Garcia, the chapters never end. Carl Roberts sounds a lot like pro wrestling. Let me bring you in. Doesn't it?
Never ends with wrestling either, brother.
No. Well, wrestling's scripted.
Yes.
And now it's becoming like the script here with Ryan Garcia every day. Let's get to the wrestling news. Let's look at AEW first. A great debut for Mercedes on AE Dynamite last week up in Boston. And she made a comeback, and she did a well, I believe, welcome home up in Boston, and welcome to AEW. It was well done. What did you think?
I loved it. Again, it's the homecoming of her, which is great. But a lot of people are saying that the female locker room is not happy with her contract and the amount that she's supposedly getting for.
Yeah, I heard rumblings about that, but I don't understand why, because she's going to only propel and make that women's division in AEW so much better. It adds to so much more.
You're right. And it was a lot of the talent that actually were there from day one that aren't getting the contract that she supposedly has. Now, it's not confirmed on what her contract was and how much. It's all speculations right now.
And we don't know who she's going to be Do we know yet who she's going to be programmed with at first?
No.
She's coming in as a baby face first, and eventually I believe she'll turn heel. So we don't know what program she'll have with AEW, who she's going to go in with yet. I wonder who.
She did mention one name Wednesday night, and that was Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, they know each other well. They've worked together, New Japan together? Yeah.
That, and also some of the indies, too.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be good.
History, okay, it's going to build up. But I could see her actually going up against Paige or Soraya.
They know each other well, too, back in their WWE days. Carl, Dynamite tonight, which will be airing in a few minutes, and that I want to watch it, but it probably won't be till the second hour. Do we see the end of this Christian Adam Copeland feud? Does it end tonight?
I would hope so. But to be honest with you, I don't know. Because everybody's invested in it to a point. Now, when Christian won he won the belt, everybody was against it. But now that Edge or Adam Copeland won it, they were great. They were happy for him. And he loses it like 5 minutes later. It's like, really, that's something WWE would do.
I think eventually Christian and Adam Copeland, I believe eventually Christian and Adam Copeland are going to end up becoming the best of friends again in the program, the storyline, and become tag team partners just like they were in the old days. That's inevitable.
Correct.
I could see that happening. I think this ends it tonight. Tony Khan can't continue to do this to the fans. All right, let's move on more AEW briefly. There is this rumor. Put it up. Sheamus, who hasn't been seen in WWE. Do you have that there? This has come up on social media that he's going to become All Elite. Now, I haven't checked into this any further. As far as I know, I think Sheamus is still on the WWE contract, isn't he?
He's still under WWE contract, out with a shoulder injury. And his actual last match was against Edge. So his contract is up this year. So that's why the rumor mill is starting to really flow big time of him going to AEW.
Yeah, there would be no room for him there. Where would they put him in there if he did sign?
I could see him possibly go to Ring of Honor, but that's a step down. That's
a step down. I don't think Sheamus would want that. No. But you ask me, Carl, Sheamus is a cornerstone, a major part of WWE, and Triple H is just not going to let him go that easy. Sheamus, to me, I think that's just rumor. You get a lot of that, a lot of speculation. So that remains to be determined. We'll see that. Let's talk WrestleMania season, and boy, we're nearing it.
AEW.
What?
There's another rumor out of AEW that Matt Hardy left the company.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up because I failed to mention that. Matt Hardy left, maybe going back to WWE, though his brother Jeff has the longer part of the contract and is not going to join him anytime soon. That could happen. Triple H loves Matt Hardy. He loves the Hardys, both of them.
Matt did come out and say that he has not left AEW. They are in negotiating of restructuring his contract.
Okay.
Yes, he was at WWE.
All right, so right now, let's just go. We got to move on. It's just rumor. All right. Well, we'll see. Maybe next week we'll know more. We'll clarify. WrestleMania season. WrestleMania can't believe it. It's nearing in 2 weeks. Double night, Philadelphia. We all know that. Peacock Network. Triple H talking about 7 matches for each night. The card hasn't been finalized. You'll hear more matches probably announced on SmackDown and Raw in the next week to finalize. We do know this. The Rock, Cody Rhodes, of course, we know what's happening there. Cody Rhodes and The Rock, and Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, the whole story. Again, I'm sticking with what I've been saying. I'll say it again. The Rock will turn on the family and help Cody win the title. Because
Yes.
I think The Rock is going to leave. He's going to go do another movie, and then they'll come back, and The Rock's still involved because he's a part of the stockholders, has a share in the company now. The Rock and Roman Reigns, maybe SummerSlam.
Possibly.
All right, so you're hearing the same thing I am.
Yes, sir.
What about this? Drew McIntyre, put that, I know you got that image up. Put it up. And Seth Rollins. I love Seth. Seth's my favorite. He's my favorite. All right. Who wins that title? Does Seth lose it? Does Drew McIntyre finally get what he wants?
I would say yes.
And that's
I'm
because
gonna go
Seth's
with
got to
Drew
take some time. Seth's got to take some time off, right, for the injury. All right.
Right. He really needs to heal up his knee, and the only way to do that is to drop the belt to Drew.
Okay. Now, let's move on. It was officially announced that both of them did it. Great promo leading up to it. We're going to get the Uso brothers, Jay and Jimmy.
Oh, you mean this photo?
Yes. I like it.
I love it because it's, again, brother versus brother. It's been something that's been coming for a long time. And
Who will be the referee? Do you think it's going to be Rikishi, the father?
I would say yes. Me personally, I would be like, have your father be the special rep.
Well, it wouldn't be. Look, it wouldn't be WrestleMania. Look, it's WrestleMania. It wouldn't be if he wasn't. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
And who's the father gonna? What is he gonna do? I think when it's over, though, this whole bloodline stuff, I think you're gonna see Jimmy and Jay hug it out. That's what I think. Now, does Jay go back to the bloodline? Does the bloodline break up? These
I
are the
think the bloodline-
storylines to be determined, which making WrestleMania so interesting.
Yeah, and I think the bloodline actually will break up, and Sokolo, who you really don't hear about except for when he's with the bloodline,
No.
he's gonna do that on his own.
He's been very quiet, and he's been on his own. You're wondering there. A hint maybe to come there with the bloodline. Nia Jax and Becky Lynch, the man, had an awesome match on Monday Night Raw. You have an image of that?
The only image I have is the aftermath of that
Oh,
match.
put it up. Put it up. Yeah,
And
look, you know, that's Rhea Ripley. She's now confronting Becky Lynch. They're the main eventing WrestleMania for the women's title. But Nia Jax and Becky Lynch had an awesome. Wasn't an I Quit match. Was it a everything
Last woman
goes
standing match.
last standing, and that was an awesome match. Then again, I love Nia Jax. She's my favorite female on the roster. I love her. I always did. And for a big woman like she is, she can move. And Becky Lynch, of course, will bring out the best in you. And that was a great match on Monday Night Raw to end the program Monday night.
It was.
But where does Nia Jax fit into this female title, the women's title now? Do we get any idea after this match, maybe?
She would be like next to line after Becky Lynch.
Because she should be the champion. She's got that physical stature, and she can wrestle as best as anyone with her size.
Yeah.
And she presents this image. That's why she's called the what is she called? The Annihil- what is her name or nickname?
I'm
Annihilator or what?
something like that.
The irresistible force.
Yes.
That's what she is. She needs to become the I think she will be at some point by the end of the year. All right. Talk about CM Punk, who's on the sideline, but will play a
Don't
role
have
in
him.
WrestleMania. What have you
I don't
heard?
have a photo of him.
But what have you
Yes,
heard?
He will be back Monday night in Chicago, his hometown. But
Does he have does he play a role in the Rollins match? Does he play a role with the Rollins McIntyre match? Do you think CM Punk gets involved in WrestleMania with the Bloodline match? Does he have any any bearing on any of the matches? Does he get involved, or is he just going to be on the microphone?
I think he's just going to be on the microphone. I don't think he's going to be involved in any of the matches
All
like
right.
we want him to.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's my personal opinion. Is
All
he's
right.
gonna
We
be on
will
the-
have next week. We'll all know. We should know the entire WrestleMania card
right
for the 2 nights. And
There's
again,
one match that we're definitely waiting for, and that's the 6-pack ladder match.
yeah.
For the tag team title.
That's going to be awesome. I look forward to that. We don't know if it's going to be on the first night or the second night, but it's going to be an awesome
First
match
night.
for the tag team titles. And I think that's when you see Finn Balor and Damian Priest split. And Damian Priest becomes the good guy with the briefcase. He's still got the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yep.
What's with that? What's with that?
Hey, he's got 1 year to do it.
All right, Carl, put these images up as I talk about it.
Sure.
And thanks again, my friend. Great job. As we're going to wrap this up with the wrestling and a few other items and say goodnight.
If
All
you
right.
want, I will go in the back so you can talk about these.
Yep. Why don't you do that? All right, Carl. Thank you, my friend. Always. This was interesting, and this was on social media. I thought we'd put this up. Jerry the King Lawler, the WWE Hall of Famer, and Jeff Jarrett. Lawler's getting some type of presentation in Memphis, Tennessee at a Grizzlies game, getting an honor, and all of a sudden Jeff Jarrett intervenes, grabs the honorary belt or whatever from Jerry Lawler, and then a big ruckus starts to break out. Wondering if no, obviously Jerry Lawler just had a stroke, has a heart condition, is not going to wrestle ever again. We know that. But what was this all about? And is Jarrett and Laura, are they going to do some type of thing? Maybe. I mean, Lawler's with the WWE as an ambassador. He's not with AEW, but maybe something's going to develop with AEW. I don't know. I thought that was interesting that we saw that. And then I saw this on social media. I thought this was a great photo, great image to see the Hall of Famer, former New York Met, LA Dodger, Mike Piazza, one of my favorites, and the Nature Boy, Ric Flair together. That, to me, my friends, is, I would say iconic, though they're two icons in their respective roles, wrestler, an immortal baseball player as Mike Piazza was in the Hall of Fame. Ric Flair, Mike Piazza. Now, interesting because I've talked to Mike Piazza many times. He's a pro wrestling nut. He loves boxing as well. And Mike Piazza has always been a fan of Ric Flair. He's always told me that. And there they were together. I thought I'd show that as well. Okay. Now I'll go in the past a little bit with you as we wrap this up and also bring this to your attention because if you want any of this stuff, I'd be more than happy to get it to you. Just let me know. Comment, send me an email at ring786AOL.com or my social media handles, Twitter, X, ring786 or Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. I'm cleaning out. I'm an old man. I start to clean out. And I've covered so many significant events in my career of 43 years almost, including many magnificent historic fights. So I'm coming across a lot of old press credentials we get as you go in the arena. You have to get a credential, of course. And it was Irish Weekend at the Garden, and I remember this, Michael Conlon, who sold out the Garden many times, fought in the Garden just about every St. Patrick's Day weekend with Top Rank. Thought I'd show you that image of a press credential of Michael Conlon. And also, we talk so much about Keith Thurman and Ryan Garcia, but now we talk about Keith Thurman more now that he's not fighting on March 30th on Amazon Prime against Costa Azul because of his bicep injury that forced him to pull out, as we talked extensively at the beginning of the program. And here's an old Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, who had a bit of mental state of mind before a fight. There's an old press pass from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn when they fought a controversial fight that Garcia lost, thought he won. Thurman won a championship then, welterweight title. There's the press pass, Barclays Center. And you know what? I'm at the Barclays Center covering the Atlantic 10 Basketball Conference Championship this past week. And in the barrels in the bottom as you're walking from one place to another, They got magnificent photos of historic fights that have been at the Barclays Center. Talk about Madison Square Garden being historic with fights. The Barclays Center has had quite a few, but now they're back in the business with that April 20th fight with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, if it goes off. And I saw more than one great photo captured of that fight at Barclays Center. Danny Garcia and Keith one-time Thurman. So I thought I'd share those two crest credential passes of the past to you to see what they look like. And, if you want them, let me know. They're just sitting here doing nothing. And I have a ton of others that I'll show in the weeks to come with other memorabilia if you allow me to do it. And I would love to do it for you. Well, that wrapped up a busy, informative week without a guest. The pro wrestling news, of course, the boxing news, and Ryan Garcia always dominating it. Again, my best to Keith Thurman. Hope he can come back on the comeback trail again, get over this injury, and I'm sure he will. Disappointment, but the fight card is still on Amazon Prime pay-per-view March 30th, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, and Sebastian Fundora, the Towering Inferno, main eventing now with Costa Jew at 154. Thanks to Carl Roberts behind the scenes. As always, great job for putting everything up and putting up with me the last few days to put this together for you. Thanks to you, my loyal viewers and supporters of the program and all I do here as we keep it in the ring. Social media to get me, again, X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, and other social media platforms, and also find out on social media when we'll be on again next week live. It's probably going to be Wednesday night again, but I'll let you know. You are great out there for me, fans. You've been keeping me going all these years. I continue to do my best to keep you informed. I want you all to stay well, be healthy, stay good to each other. That's very important, and God bless as always. As I always say, till next week, thanks for watching. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Keep It in the Ring. Till next week.